Excel worksheets can get very large. With 1,048,576 rows available within a worksheet, you may need a way of limiting the amount of data you see at one time. Of course, you probably won't have worksheets that use all those rows, but even having a few hundred rows of data can make it hard to find what you're looking for. This is where filtering can help. Filtering your data will limit the rows you see to what you need. Filtering lets you temporarily hide data that you don't need at the moment. When you use a filter, you can select one or more values from a column's data to determine which rows to show. Or you can use comparison operators to find the data you want, like all values that are greater than 100, or the top 10 values in a column. The filtering options available are based on the type of data in the column you're filtering on. For instance, you have different filtering options for columns that contain numbers than you do for columns that contain text values. If we wanted to filter this data on the number values in the item number column, some possible filters would include equal to 3, which would return item number 3, not equal to 3, which would return all items except for number 3, greater than 3, which would return items 4 through 8, greater than or equal to 3, which would return items 3 through 8, less than 3, which would return items 1 and 2, less than or equal to 3, which would return items 1, 2, and 3, between 2 and 7, which would return item numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, the top 10 values, which would return all the items in our list because we have less than 10. If we had more than 10, it would return the rows with the 10 highest values in the column. Above average values, which would return items 5, 6, 7, and 8 because their item numbers are higher than the average item number, which is 4.5. And below average values, which would return items 1, 2, 3, and 4 because their item numbers are lower than the average item number of 4.5. If we wanted to filter this data on the text values in the product name column, some possible filters would include equals pencils, which would return just item number 1. Does not equal pencils, which would return all records except for item number 1. Begins with PEN, which would return item number 1 and item number 2 because they start with the characters PEN. Ends with ERS, which would return items 6, 7, and 8 because they all end in the characters ERS. Contains ENS, which would return item numbers 2 and 7 because they contain the characters ENS somewhere within the text. And does not contain ENS, which will return all items except items 2 and 7, because all the other items do not contain the characters ENS within their text. So that's how filtering works. Let's see filtering in action.